What is going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, fixed air moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all. Happy Juneteenth. Super grateful that that's a holiday. Should have been forever ago. I'm just glad it is. I know it has been for a while now, but I'm grateful for the holiday and I'm happy that it's here. I'm happy that we get to celebrate it with you guys. We get to talk about this astrology for this Wednesday because we got a yacht. we got a yacht. We got the moon coming into Sag. It's going to sextile Pluto and they're going to yacht over to Venus. It's a little wide to Venus, but it's under 2 degrees. So it's a yacht. It is a yacht. So we are going to see the moon start out in Scorpio. So let's remember we could wake up with some intensity. Could be feeling extra emotionally driven. Or we could be a little sensitive at the same token. The moon's also going to trine over to Neptune right as it makes its ingress out. And then right around midday, or a little bit later if you're on the East Coast, about 3:30 p.m. on the East Coast, we're going to see that moon make this yod over to Venus in Cancer and Mercury in Cancer. Now, Mercury's not in the yod. I use very tight orbs for yods. It's a very specific moment. It's a very specific thing. But we're dealing with like a snapshot in time today of a very important time for seeing, I think, too, with the moon coming into Sagittarius, the expanse of what is around us, what we can learn, what our truth is, how to kind of get up on a soapbox in a little bit in our life and give that deep message and share it with ones we love. So I think, you might find yourself today feeling like you have to tell somebody that you care about something important. Like all of a sudden there's like this urge, this desire that like somebody needs to know something or somebody's going to tell you something that's important. Something feels like people have something to say. Like today's going to be a big emotional expression day and it's going to come from a very deep place and a very like forward driven place and a very like I think free place too. And I think that's how you'll know like the vibration of where it's coming from, whether you're delivering or receiving a message. Like, is it promoting expanse and freedom, and does it promote liberation? And I think that's a lot of the Sag and the Aquarius energy with Pluto and the moon that are going to influence this. But like having that kind of come together in relationships and with close bonds, and also just within ourselves and how we can outwardly express how we can feel so safe and secure in such uncertainty, but that we can see the expanse, that there is a vision, so it's very visionary, but it's like feeling safe in the uncertainty of what's possibly to come or whatever's going to be, or just the day or the next year or tomorrow. It doesn't really matter, but there is like something wants us to feel safe. Something wants us to feel like the expanse and the future is positive. So I like this energy a lot. We're also seeing Mercury start to make its sextile over to Mars, which I think is definitely ramping the mind up, getting us kind of fired up to give that expression, to give that message, but to deliver it in, maybe a softer tone. Maybe it takes some of the harshness out. Because Mars square Mercury can be a little bit more harsh. It can be a little loud. The sextile with Mercury in Cancer could definitely be softer and more. It could come from just a deeper, more emotional place of being able to intellectually describe something in your life or express your values. So things are definitely coming from a more I feel like there's a lot of sincerity. Like if things don't feel sincere, they're not sincere. If they feel sincere, they're extremely sincere. And like you or that other person or whatever it was in life meant it. So we're kind of keeping that open. The sun, at the same token, is going to come to 29 degrees today, and we are in the final day of full day of Gemini season, and that sun's going to square off with Neptune, who has just been interesting, tricky, as I've been saying a lot lately, but it's interesting. I've been feeling with these Neptune squares moments of just like ecstasy and bliss and just nonstop imagination about all sorts of different things. And sometimes it wears off and then I kind of come back and I feel so dense when I come back and I'm like, I want to go back to that place. I want to go back there. but then we have to like, then we, reality sucks us back in. So that's like been my experience. Is just like, wow, this amazing thing, but it doesn't exist yet. And it may never exist. And who knows? But it's so beautiful to think about and to be, in. So we're getting that intensified with the sun here. But we don't want to let that stop us from doing things. We don't want to let it stop us from like going after life and expressing things that need to be expressed. But I mean, I definitely think it it's softening a lot of things too. So it can almost feel like there's a lot being bypassed. But I feel like today's is like just bypass it. Like just find your happy place, your happy future, your happy vision, and say things that you mean in regard to that. Now, there could be plenty of reasons that it's not bliss, that it's not beautiful, but try to have a moment at least if you're in that space where like things are, maybe having a hard Wednesday or just a hard day or a hard week or whatever's been going on, like try to get back and have a moment of just bliss and imagination of things that can be, you know, because it might not be real. But man, it sure can feel good right now, and I don't even know if that's good advice. It just feels so good for me, and that's I guess why I'm sharing it, because that's some things I've been doing the last, 3 days with these squares, and it's one way to look at it. I think it adds a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy. I think we're overflowing in a lot of ways with emotion and empathy, or it could, come out in other ways too. I mean, we could be overly sensitive to where we're feeling like we have to just, like we're not feeling safe at the same time, and we just gotta like do something to make a change there too. But I don't know. By the end of the day, that moon's gonna oppose Jupiter in Gemini. And that, I mean, it's just a super emotional day. Like, I feel like today is just like this cuddle puddle of emotion, and it needs to be expressed. There's things that need to be said. There's truth in it. It's imaginative. It's not super grounded. Mars is like trying to ground us out, but it's also like, I don't know. I feel like Mars is like Mars is not like holding it down like it was. Like, right? Can I get an eraser? Can I get an eraser? Okay, there we go. Like Mars is not holding it down. Sorry, that was Jupiter. Jupiter's not holding it down either, but Mars is -3. And it's the dispositor of our north node. So it's just a little, I don't know. It's way more sensitive. It's not as like body armored out. It's not as ready to go to war. So I feel like the aggro's kind of cooling down, especially as the moon comes out of Scorpio. And it just becomes like, how can you envision a really safe place for yourself? And I think this is where Mars would thrive too in Taurus, is like really knowing and feeling that it's safe, and it's secure and it can keep going. Because Mars wants to keep going. It's not stopping in Taurus. There's no retrograde here. It just has to stop and smell the roses a little bit. And I would stay with Neptune squares, like stop and smell the roses, do something artistic, do something creative, imagine. It's okay because it's hard to fight it. Like it's kind of gonna happen anyways. And there can be crazy, thoughts that come up too, but we want to be like, yeah, see where the crazy thought goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, see where the crazy emotion goes right now. Like, we kind of just have to see where the thing is going to go. There's something going. We got to see where it goes. So it's a weird day, but it's also great. Like, it's super beautiful. We're in such mixed times. Like, I feel like some people are loving this so much and having a great time, and I don't know if other people are loving it as much. And that's life. I mean, everybody's going to have ups and downs and it's going to be different, but you really have to kind of let go right now. Like just let things go, feel things. See where the journey goes right now. Like we got to see where the emotions are trying to journey right now. There's a lot we can understand, there's a lot we can act on, there's a lot we can discover. There's a lot that could be, figured out at the same time. So You just kind of have to go down the rabbit hole. Like it's Alice in Wonderland. I don't know. You can hang out with the queen, or you can hang out with the Cheshire cat, or the caterpillar smoking hookah. You know, pick your poison. What we get for the tarot? King of Cups in reverse. I mean, it's like, what's going on? Is this even safe? Is this feeling safe? Is this emotion safe? Is this good? Am I good? It's a little weird. King of Cups reverse, like not feeling as like steady and strong in our emotions, our sensitivities, as maybe we'd like to, because it's real wishy-washy. And the moon in Sag and then opposite Jupiter is just like blowing things up. And not in a bad way. Like it could be in a really cool, like super like today is very intuitive, very psychic. But I think we got to be able to go for the ride. Kind of reminds me of like a DMT trip, which I don't know if you've done it or not, but I have. And you got to just, if you sign up for the journey, you just got to go on the journey. Or probably same with like ayahuasca, which I haven't done. But like when you go on these like journeys, you just got to go and see where it takes you. And like you don't want to be scared of it. You kind of just have to surrender to it. And it's always going to be more enjoyable when you just surrender and see where it goes and not try and force it. Because right now with the Sun Square Neptune, like forcing your ego into something is just gonna make it weirder. And it can turn a really cool dream into a really weird nightmare. And it can get really mentally weird too into Gemini. So, I want to pull one more card. The Two of Cups in reverse. I don't know. A lot of this is probably about people and relationships. It's like definitely the divine union, kind of soulmate energy, but definitely just, two people really being able to share emotions and come together and see each other from a deep place. And that card coming out after that's really weird too. So maybe a lot of this, maybe just a lot of the day, a lot of life right now is about figuring out our relationships and being able to express ourselves from a safe place and to not feel, scared of that, because gosh, we can imagine so many different outcomes. Is your imagination providing you with an outcome that's favorable or not favorable? Well, both, you know, aren't true until you actually have the conversation, express the feeling. So, love and appreciate you all. Have a great Juneteenth. I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love. Peace.